Hello there, lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV News. Today, Thursday, the 6th of June in the year 2024. We begin the news with a look at the headlines. Lusaka residents call for urgent maize supply to millers. Citizens First Leader KALABA mocks President HICHILEMA'S address. BOWMAN LUSAMBO'S fate hangs as court set judgment in witness interference case. And in international news this evening, tornado claims 11 lives in South Africa. In sports news, BURKINA-FASO ready to face the PHARAOHS in World Cup qualifier match. More after the break.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
With the Camnet TV main news, my name is Tapelo Joe Smarter. Some residents of Lusaka's Kaunda Square have advised government to subsidize maize or avail the produce to all millers. One of the residents, Rhoda Bwalia, believes supplying millers with maize is a sustainable measure to stabilize the price of the commodity. Ms. Bwalia adds that Zambia National Service, ZNS, milling meal is not accessible to everyone in the country, hence calls for the price of milling meal to reduce. In his address to the nation yesterday, President Hakainde Hichilema said he was having sleepless nights in order to reduce the price of milling meal. Cherish Siwote gives us more in the following report.
The price of milling meal from 2021 has drastically increased from a bag of milling meal costing around 180 to now costing between 230 to 325 kwacha per bag. It is for this reason residents of Lusaka's Kaunda Square are urging government to subsidize maize so as to reduce the price of Zambia's staple food. Ms. Rhoda Bwalia, one of the residents, tells this reporter that millers have little access to maize as most of the maize is being sold to ZNS millers. She says maize must be supplied to all millers to reduce the price of milling meal in the country.
Then babeba no to reduce ama prices ishchaba bwino bantu bali abantu abakala bakisa command ko bachibwesheni nisha amataba balepera ni banani niba government ngabapela abalimi abachibile ukuti bali mi amataba bali balepera ngefibala ndati fimfula ku isupu yo ku southern ku northern na okoyi bali bakaya pela bakabule ali amataba bakatwale ku mamilas yonse amamilas nishibachita deduct ubuchushu tukwetu ayo kwisa kubungo bwino bwa ZNS ushobunga baleleta once in a while aleta lero pa Sunday na fucha kaliseleta pa Sunday ukafula.
And Shadrack Siboza says the president is well aware that the price of milling meal is highly dependent on the price FRA sells its maize. Therefore, government must subsidize the price of maize in order to reduce the cost of a bag of milling meal.
Aware of that. Even when he was in opposition, he knew that every time FRA buy maize, they come up with the price of selling maize, and the same price of selling maize, that's the price of selling milling meal. So the price of maize from FRA, that's what determines the price of milling meal in Zambia. But the president, when he won election, he went ahead and increased the price of buying maize from 180 to 280, which makes milling meal to rise from 180 to 200 plus. It's not because of the drought, it's because of him. He made the price to be increased. And this year, the FRA has increased the price of maize from 280 to 330. So we don't expect the price of milling meal to go down. And the solution for that, the president is very much aware of it. The only way the president can go about it to change the price of mealie is to bring in subsidize the maize.
Meanwhile, Bota Panji says government must reduce the cost of fertilizer by reopening nitrogen chemicals of Zambia.
The government must reduce the price of fertilizer. The only way they can reduce the price of fertilizer, they need to open nitrogen chemicals. We should manufacture our own fertilizer. This fertilizer of importing from whatever place they are claiming, Ukraine, Saudi Arabia, or whichever place they import the fertilizer, will not be able to bring down the price of it. Minimum. The only thing to do is we need to liberalize nitrogen chemicals and start producing our own fertilizer, both urea and T compound. Basically, those are the only two things that I can refer to. Those are the only two things I feel that can help reduce the cost of production of maize and the minimum.
Wednesday, June 5th, in his speech, President Hakainde Hichilema stated that he was having sleepless nights trying to find a solution to reduce the price of mealie meal. Cherish Sivoti for Camnet News, LUSAKA.
Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, has challenged the police to act on the presidential directive to arrest suspected ruling United Party for National Development, UPND youths alleged to have disrupted public order and abused citizens on some roads in Lusaka on Tuesday. TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe hopes the re-emergence of political cadres will be immediately handled as per President Hakainde Hichilema's directive. Meanwhile, Mr. Nyambe has welcomed the appointment of Princess Kasune as Minister of Justice and hopes she will help foster development in the country with the involvement of stakeholders such as civil society organizations. Wednesday, Republican President appointed Princess Kasune as Justice Minister, while Mlambo Haimbe takes up the role of Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
The re-emergence of cadreism is something that is a very big concern to all of us, not just as civil society, but even generally just as citizens. I think if you look back to where we're coming from a very dark place where cadres really rose to a point of prominence where even, the police started fearing them. And so to see that scenario re-emerging 2 days ago was something really that was a very big concern to us. So we welcome the directive that the President has given that those who engaged in such behavior should be arrested and probably should be prosecuted. So I think for us we'll be very keen to see how the police are going to actualize that, because it's one thing to just say that something should happen, but whether or not that thing actually happens is another matter altogether. So we'll be very keen to see how the police are going to actualize that, and we do hope that the police will act on that directive so that we can nip this in the bud before it becomes the problem that it was in the past. Operation that has already been established, and that we are going to see civil society and even many other stakeholders within the country continuing that sort of collaboration with the Ministry of Justice, because again, like I said, it's a very important ministry. So we'd like to congratulate her, and we can only wish her well, and the jury is still very much out. We will be there to support in terms of the way we have supported every other person that has held that position in terms of some of the issues that we are pushing for related to the governance of this country, and I think that support is also going to be there even for the new minister. So we can only wish her well. It's a very important ministry, and we hope that she's going to be up to the task.
In political news this evening, the opposition Citizens First President Harry Kalaba has alleged that Zambia will be the first country in the SADC region to have an army unleashed on its citizens in a democracy. Speaking during a press briefing at the party secretariat, Mr. Kalaba says the country expected the head of state to give a roadmap on when it will reduce the price of essential commodities such as mealie meal and load shedding. He alleges that President Hichilema has failed to unite the country. Details in the following report.
Citizen First President KALABA says he is disappointed with President Hakainde Hichilema's remarks during his address Thursday afternoon. Speaking during a press briefing at Citizens First Secretariat, Mr. KALABA says the head of state must explain to Zambians what exactly will attract a stiffer sentence between practicing tribalism and regionalism through government appointments and business contracts, or pointing out that such actions are tribal. He says a wrong in the opposition should be a wrong in the ruling too.
Too much bitterness, thus failing to heal the divide. The Citizens First upholds tribalism and regionalism in all forms, and we invite President Hichilema to join the Citizens First in sanitizing our politics and government of tribal and regionalism task, talk and actions. What is wrong in the opposition must equally be wrong in the ruling party. The City Hichilema in his press conference indicated that tribalism and hate speech will attract stiffer sentences. The Citizens First would like to ask the President which part will attract stiffer sentences. Practicing tribalism and regionalism through government appointments, business contracts, and other actions, or pointing out that there is tribalism in these actions.
Mr. KALABA adds that the UPND government must tell Zambians the time frame in which load shedding will be dealt with and how the economic situation will be improved instead of mere politicking.
Is over 10,000 kwacha per month for bare necessities for a family of 4. This is as espoused by the JCTR, the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection. How many people in Zambia today earn more than 10,000 kwacha? Working poor is what defines most of us now in Zambia. And honestly, I thought the President, in his press briefing yesterday, was going to spend time on issues like this. But typical of our President, he wants to play politics all the time. Even when the nation is at a time like this, we need seriousness from our leaders.
Meanwhile, also at the briefing, NDC faction President Saboy Imboila says she is taking presidential political advisor Levin Ngoma to court to substantiate his claims in a local newspaper that she slept with a ghost.
To everybody else for this, because our UPND, instead of politics, they reduce us to nonsense. Are you getting the point, right? And all the time we say, this is nonsense, we look away. But they're building, and their people believe these stories. You get the point? Their people believe this nonsense. So I said today, let's address the nonsense, guys. And wonder if he spoke first. So maybe after Nakambakoma nonsense at the level of living government, maybe you took me to the police and cited me for defamation before I said anything. Your job or your mission was to shut me up, but you can't shut me up. You can't shut me up. Lero so nakamba nipeleke ku court, but naini nikupeleka ku court so that you go substantiate what you said. Then you can take me to court, I go substantiate what I said. Kaira UPND watenga whether wakamba right or wrong.
Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, LUSAKA.
In court news this evening, the LUSAKA Magistrate Court has set 22nd August 2024 as judgment date in the case former LUSAKA Province Minister BOWMAN LUSAMBO is charged with 3 counts of attempting to interfere with witnesses. When the matter came up for continued trial, defense lawyers representing Mr. LUSAMBO asked for an adjournment as the witness lined up to testify was not present, prompting LUSAKA Magistrate Trevor Kasanda to halt the proceedings of the matter for an hour for the defense to present the witness. However, after the 1 hour elapsed, defense lawyer Makebi Zulu closed the defense and asked for judicial notice to file before court, leading to a judgment date being set. More details in this report.
In 77 days, former LUSAKA Province Minister BOWMAN LUSAMBO will know his fate as he remains uncertain following the Lusaka Magistrate Court decision to set a judgment date on 22nd August 2024 in a matter he is facing 3 counts of attempting to interfere with witnesses. When the matter came up before Lusaka Magistrate Trevor Kasanda, the defense lawyers representing the former provincial minister requested for an adjournment on account that their witness, a clerk of court who is supposed to testify, is not available. However, this request did not sit well with Lusaka Magistrate Kasanda, who ordered the defense team to call the witness in 1 hour and be presented before court to testify. But defense lawyer Makebi Zulu told the court that they will close their defense as the witness who was supposed to be presented before the court is a clerk of court and was not available. In this matter, the former Lusaka Province Minister BOWMAN Lusambo is facing 3 counts of attempting to interfere with witnesses. It is alleged that Mr. Lusambo between February 1st and April 30, 2022 obstructed the due course of justice by preventing Cosmas Kapaluchalusa from giving evidence as a witness before a court of law. Other allegations are that Mr. Lusambo between the same dates obstructed the due course of justice by preventing Enes Sumani and Mundia Mata from giving evidence as witnesses before a court of law. In the previous sittings, when the state had failed to present a Lamba-speaking court interpreter, the court warned defense lawyers to present all their witnesses for progress to be made in the matter. Among the cases the former minister faces in other courts are 10 counts of alleged corrupt acquisition of property suspected of being proceeds of crime, among others. With a judgment date coming up in 77 days, Mr. Lusambo, popularly known as Bulldozer, remains a best friend of uncertainty on the outcome of the matter. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Chief Chikomeni of Eastern Province in LUMAZE District has distanced himself from remarks that champion tribal and divisiveness in the country. The traditional leader discloses that recent statement by LUMAZE lawmaker Munia Zulu should not be entertained as it goes against Zambia's belief in unity and diversity. Chief Chikomeni, however, highlights his openness to offer counsel to politicians on the importance of upholding the country's national values on love and unity.
As traditional leaders, we don't condone people who try to divide the country, because we are, all of us, we are one. This is one Zambia, one nation. Particularly when we talk of about our MP, he is coming from my chiefdom, Katesha village. And so to say, I'm one person who have tried to call him so that at least we advise each other, but he has never come to my palace to date. The way he's saying that the Eastern Province is no-go area for these other provinces, I think that is a very bad statement, because in Eastern Province we do have people from Western Province, in fact Southern Province, who are working from Western Province. Why should we try to divide the country maybe into 2 or maybe into 3?
We now go to Western Province, where Mongu District Commissioner Morgan Akabeswa has called on people across the country to refrain from corrupt practices that dwindle the country's economic growth. The district commissioner explains that corruption is a cancer that deprives the country of its economic resources, and advised all students in colleges to join the fight by reporting any corrupt activities they encounter. Meanwhile, Zambian Leadership in America Foundation National Youth Coordinator Chendela Chingumbe emphasizes the need to sensitize and engage students in the fight against corruption. Here's a report.
Corruption remains a critical problem in the Zambian context, with government officials frequently engaging in corrupt acts with impunity. Speaking after a debate between the Wanaka School of Nursing and High Hopes Institute of Health and Sciences, Mongo District Commissioner Morgan Akabeso advised students not to involve themselves in corrupt activities, warning that it will jeopardize their future careers.
The theme for today is creating awareness on corruption to the youth through debates in colleges. Today is very significant in that we are here to debate, to talk about, to share, to interact and speak about this cancer which is called corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that corruption is a scourge that undermines the very fiber of our person and common development. As future leaders, you here, it is quite imperative that you understand the complexities of this huge issue and should be prepared to combat corruption with determination and integrity.
Zambian Leadership in America Foundation National Youth Coordinator Chindere Chingumbe emphasized that corruption and undue influence stand out as the major forms of corruption.
DLA, we are currently undertaking a project which is known as or called Advancing the Role of Inclusive Participation. Allow me to state that we raise awareness, and under this we aim to, to raise awareness about effective of corruption on our society and highlight the importance of inclusive participation in countering corruption. That enthusiastic spirit, young people having that energetic, spirit that can drive change in our communities if at all we engage them and we involve them in the fight against corruption.
Those spoken to after the debate had this to say.
A lot of things really affect us when we look at corruption, okay? Because corruption talks about a lot of things, whereby it involves fraud, it involves wasting of drugs, it involves a lot of things. But when we talk about the whistleblowers coming about, or the introduction of whistleblower protection laws, it helps people be able to come out and report such issues.
Something happening, you have a say about it, please feel free, go on. There are laws that will be there to protect you. When you see corrupt cases going on, please don't just sit there and say this is how it goes. A change can start with you. Thank you.
Corruption has remained a cancer, whether in informal or informal sector. It needs collaborated effort to combat it. Mosebo Kavira, Camnet News in Mongo District, Western Province.
Still in Western Province, Nkema Town Council Secretary Dr. Moses Muchoka has underscored the need for bureaucrats and leaders at all levels to embrace research as a key to solving numerous challenges of humankind. Speaking when a team of researchers from Perth, attractive targeted sugar bait follow-on entomology study on malaria burden, paid a courtesy call at his office, Dr. Muchoka stressed research, especially in health sciences, should be embraced. Dr. Muchoka, who is a public health practitioner by profession, held the team for choosing Kema District among the areas in which to conduct the research and was hopeful that it will help in future malaria interventions.
Towards controlling malaria is actually a very much welcome. Now, what research will do is to give us knowledge. And the Bible says, my people will perish because of lack of knowledge. So we are blessed that today we are privileged to have the knowledge at our hand. And Nkema Town Council is privileged because we are the first-hand information. The study was done in Nkema. It's a national study, but we own it because we are actually part of the study. And we are part and parcel of the processes. And we have got experience on the ground to share with everybody else because we are in the study area and we are privileged to have that information. So we just want to say that thank you very much. Some of the key findings that we've learned from here is that the malaria-causing mosquito can bite anytime in the day. It can bite anytime in the night. And that also try to revisit, challenges us to revisit the earlier narrative and policy standing of saying malaria is more prominent. The bites are more prominent around 21 hours. Now it's coming out clearly that they can bite you anytime. But more prominently, the statistics is telling us that it can be the biting is much more concentrated after midnight, around 0203 somewhere there. The study is showing significant biting of around 12%, and then it starts going down as the morning get closer. So basically, that shows us to say there's no safer time.
From Kema district to Lusaka, where the Lusaka Magistrate Court has granted bail pending trial to Mfue Member of Parliament Maureen Mabonga in the sum of 150,000 kwacha after it determined that she is not a flight risk by virtue of her position as a lawmaker. This follows 9 days detention for charges of sedition contrary to the laws of Zambia. Last week, Ms. Mabonga was among political figures arrested by the police, including Edith Nawakwi, Brebna Changala, Munia Zulu, and Danny Pule on allegations of hate speech and seditious practices before the state charged them with espionage. More in the following report.
For more than 7 days, Mfue Member of Parliament Maureen Mabonga had a feel of what prisons feel like in Zambia. This follows her incarceration a week ago for comments which are allegedly in conflict with the law while she awaited the verdict of the court on her bail pending trial ruling before Lusaka Magistrate Trevor Kasanda. The court ruled that Ms. Mabonga is not a flight risk by her position as a lawmaker. As such, it granted bail in the sum of 150,000 kwacha. Magistrate Kasanda also ruled that the accused presents 2 working sureties in the like sum and that Ms. Mabonga surrenders her passport to the clerk of court. Last week, FDD leader Edith Nawakwi, civil rights activist Brebna Changala, Lumezi independent member of parliament Munia Zulu, Mfue member of parliament Maureen Mabonga, and Christian Democratic Party Danny Pule were arrested on allegations of hate speech and seditious practices before the state charged them with espionage, to which espionage and hate speech offences were later dropped. The Mfue lawmaker is facing 2 counts of seditious practices contrary to Section 57, subsection 1b, as read together with Section 60, subsection 1b of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the Laws of Zambia. Allegations are that Ms. Mabonga, between May 25th and May 28th, 2024, in Lusaka, said words believed to be seditious, quoted, according to the court documents, as, "Do you want us to be moving with guns, start killing each other? Is this what we wished for as Zambians?" Among others. In count 2, Mabonga on the same dates is alleged to have said seditious words. Every member speaking is a criminal. According to them, they must not leave even people from Eastern Province, among other words. All the remarks allegedly were spoken when Petoka Central Member of Parliament Emmanuel Jeje Banda reportedly went missing. Trial in this matter commences on 3rd and 5th July 2024. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Lawyer to Petauke Independent Member of Parliament, Sakwiwa Scotta, has disclosed that his client is concerned with how the state is allegedly treating his abduction case. Speaking when he addressed the media on the status quo of Honorable Emmanuel Jeje Banda, State Counsel Scotta says Mr. Banda was taken to Police Command Center earlier this week and has been slapped with a charge of attempted murder, a case that was already concluded before court. He alleges that his client, during his interrogation at Police Command, was asked several questions by the 9 officers present, and shortly after his interrogation, he was whisked to Kabwata police station where he allegedly fainted and is currently admitted at Mainasoko Military Hospital. Moving on in the news, the Non-Governmental Gender Organizations Coordinating Council, NGOCC, has welcomed the initiative by the Gender Division to introduce a gender-based violence toll-free line, as this will encourage reporting of gender violence cases, especially in rural areas. NGOCC chairperson Grace Nkamba has urged the department to assess if existing toll-free lines are not effective, as to ensure that once introduced, the GBV toll-free line is efficient. The Gender Department last month announced the establishment of a National Gender-Based Violence GBV call center aimed at preventing GBV and improving the country's response to such incidents.
We welcome this move. This is the way it should be. We believe that increased reportage will contribute to breaking the culture of silence and also curb the continued rise in the cases of gender-based violence, because the perpetrators now will know that action against them will be taken. So we want also, however, to appeal to the Gender Division, because we are aware that Lifeline, Childline have also been implementing a helpline where victims or survivors of gender-based violence can actually report to. So we need to harmonize these two toll-free lines so that there is no duplicity and we maximize on the available resources. So if there's already an existing call line, toll-free line, we need to look at what it is that they've been doing, possibly strengthen them if we discover that there are weaknesses or there are areas where they need to improve upon. Otherwise, we welcome the decision, because this will help in curbing the culture of silence in our country. So we appreciate the work that the Gender Division is doing on the issue of the toll-free line.
And that particular story takes us to our first set of commercials, but do join us for international and sports news when we come back. Stay tuned.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodlands, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Kalabana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Attention, attention, attention! Prime land in Ibexhill, Kablonga, Lusaka East on sale. 1 acre and 2 acres. Contact us on +260 972 300 300 or +260 962 965 883. Only serious buyers needed.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
And thank you so much for still joining us. And now in international news. A trail of destruction in South Africa's coastal province of KwaZulu-Natal has killed 11 people while over 55 injuries have been recorded. This follows at least 2 tornadoes that hit the country's second most populous province. The tornado in the western KwaZulu-Natal region occurred near the cities of Newcastle and Ukrete. The provincial government says that at least 120 people have been displaced. Here is a roundup of international news.
A trail of destruction in South Africa's coastal province of KwaZulu-Natal. At least 2 tornadoes hit the country's second most populous province on Monday. Local authorities said Tuesday that 11 people were confirmed dead and over 55 injuries were reported. This resident recounts a sleepless night. When I woke up, I couldn't open the door because of the corrugated iron sheet blocking the door from the outside. When I pulled the sheet metal, I saw this strong whirlwind with loud thunder and heavy rain. As I was inside my house, it was raining over me. The tornado in the western KwaZulu-Natal province occurred near the cities of Newcastle and Utrect. A second more massive took place around Otongati and moved towards the coast at Westbrook and Balito, leaving more extensive damage. I did not witness the tornado, but my children told me what had happened since they were home. They told me that they saw strong wind that was rotating. They covered themselves with blankets trying to shield themselves from the strong winds. They managed to get out of the house with the assistance of their older brother. The provincial government says that at least 120 people have been displaced. The affected families are receiving humanitarian aid in 3 temporary shelters where they now live. As the war rages in Gaza, a less publicized conflict broils in the West Bank. Israeli settlers continue to expand their colonization of Palestinian hilltops. Some have been hit with international sanctions over accusations of attacks and harassment against Palestinians. This settler says sanctions are at most an annoyance. We are getting much more support from enormous parts of the public who have understood what we've been saying for years, that we're dealing with a murderous enemy that is fighting against us, and that only settling the land will bring security. That if we allow Hamas, allow a Palestinian state, then the same kind of terrorism and murder that happened in Gaza could happen here in Judea and Samaria. In addition to assets freeze, the sanctions expose settlers such as Elisha Yared and Yinon Levy to travel and visa bans. Palestinians living in small hamlets ringed by hilltop hotspots live in fear. Yinon and Eliashived destroyed our farms and our lands, and sheep breeding has been badly impacted. These sanctions are not enough. We demand more and more to deter them and return them to the right path. Israel seized the West Bank, Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip in the 1967 war. In violation of international law, settlements have expanded. Under Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing coalition, it turbocharged.
We've seen in the last years, and especially in the last month,
collapse of any rule of law in the West Bank. Basically, the store is not what the state is not there. The state is there in order to help the settlers, in order to break, to shatter any sense of the rule of law.
As rights groups accuse the government and army of complicity, authorities say they've called for settlers to stand down and are investigating cases of violence. Some parts of the public continue to raise funds for the settlers. Sergei Lavrov landed Wednesday in N'Djamena, Chad, on the last leg of his Africa tour. During his working visit, Russia's foreign minister met with his Chadian counterpart, Abderrahman Kulamallah. On the war in Ukraine, Lavrov told journalists that the West was not concerned about peace. It's not peace that the West would like to preserve. Western principles are as follows. You have to choose. Either you support Russia or you support us. If you choose Russia, we will punish you. That's the Western position. Chad and the Russian Federation will mark this year 60 years of diplomatic ties. Central Africa and Western Africa have been considered as France's sphere of influence for decades. This political analyst believes the security situation in the Sahel region has paved the way for changes. The security issue is a point of entry for Russia in Africa. This enabled the Russian Federation to gain a foothold in the Central African Republic at the time, in Mali afterwards, and other Sahelian countries. The same dynamic can be observed in the DRC. Lavrov's visit follows the visit by Chadian President Mahamat Déby Itno to Russia last January. On Wednesday, Itno met with Russia's top diplomat. According to the presidency, the officials reviewed areas of cooperation that will boost bilateral ties.
And finally, in sports news this evening, Burkina-Faso national men's football team believe they have a chance of securing a positive result ahead of tonight's World Cup qualifier against Egypt. Speaking to journalists, Burkina Faso defender Seydou Sampo is upbeat about upsetting the African giants and explains that they are in high spirits to represent their country. Egypt welcomed Burkina Faso on March the 3 in a top-of-the-table clash of Group A. The hosts have won both their qualifying games without conceding a goal, beating Djibouti 6-0 and Sierra Leone 2-0.
Burkina Faso national men's football team believe they have a chance of securing a positive result ahead of Thursday's World Cup qualifier against Egypt. Speaking to journalists, Burkina defender Seydou Simpore was upbeat about upsetting the African giants and further stated that they were in high spirits to represent their country. We know that Egypt is a great football nation and that they are the favorites. We need to showcase our talents to do our best and get a good result. We are in high spirits since we are wearing the national team jersey, and hopefully we get something positive out of this. Egypt welcomed Burkina Faso on March Day 3 in a top-of-the-table clash of Group A. The hosts have won both their qualifying games without conceding a goal, beating Djibouti 6-0 and Sierra Leone 2-0. As Captain Ibrahim Hassan said in the first press conference, we heard that you'll watch Mohamed Salah as you always used to watch abroad in Egypt as well, and he has also a dedication to make something good with his team. After a disappointing African Cup of Nations early this year, the Pharaoh let go of Rui Victoria and appointed a new head coach, Hossam Hassan.
That sporting item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news. But before we go, a quick recap of stories that made headlines. Lusaka residents call for urgent maize supply to millers. Citizens First leader KALABA mocks President HICHILEMA'S address. BOWMAN LUSAMBO'S fate hangs as court set judgment in witness interference case. Tornado claims 11 lives in South Africa. BURKINA-FASO ready to face the PHARAOHS in World Cup qualifier match. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day coming from the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28. It reads, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." We conclude the main news on behalf of the entire production team. My name is Tapelo Joe Smarter. Good evening and God bless.